A slow green morning rises through the cloud forest. Wet leaves gather light like small patient mirrors. From a moss-dark branch, a flash of emerald and crimson appears, a bird holding a single berry like a tiny offering. In that moment, we see nature's quiet wisdom. The air tastes of damp bark and ripe fruit, and the Quetzal pauses there, as if to measure the world before moving on. Welcome to Avian Tranquility. I'm Samnang, your nature storyteller. Here we slow down and follow the quiet lives of remarkable birds. Today we follow the resplendent Quetzal, Pharamacris mocino, a living splash of color in cloud forests, often rising between roughly 1,200 and 3,000 meters in elevation. Watch how the world unfolds as we step closer without rushing. These forests feel like slow machines, fog that moves like a hand across trunks, branches heavy with epiphytes, and a patchwork of fruiting trees that come alive at different times. Imagine a midday spent between laurel and avocado relatives, the light moving through leaves as if reading a long, patient page. The Quetzal times much of its life to that page, perching, waiting, taking a single fruit, and carrying its seeds elsewhere. Morning foraging is a small ritual. Picture a male slipping along a branch, head tipped forward, scouting clusters of fruit. He plucks one berry, swallows it whole, and then pauses, just long enough for sunlight to catch his iridescent green back. That single berry becomes a motif for the day, eaten, carried, and later deposited to become a future treat. Over and over, that simple act knits the forest together. Nesting for a Quetzal is an intimate work of trust. Pairs choosing hollow trunks high above the forest floor, places softened by moss and old insect tunnels. They inspect cavities together, clear them of debris, and settle into a slow readiness. When the female lays one, sometimes two, eggs, the nest becomes a small, hot center of attention. Warmth traded between parents in gentle shifts, the egg turned with careful motion until it begins to stir. Think about that for a moment. A chick so small it could fit in a cupped hand, down soft and dark, eyes bright and trusting. For nearly 3 weeks the parents attend the egg and then the nestling. Confirm incubation period for your region. They leave and return with fruit, often choosing species like mistletoe berries and other small fleshy fruits that travel well inside a bird. Each visit is careful, deliberate, almost ceremonial.
Life in the canopy is generous but tested. Storms will arrive abruptly, wind that strips leaves and tests clinging feet. Dry spells thin fruiting trees and force parents to range farther. Predators exist, a stealthy cat in higher branches and an opportunistic raptor passing on thermal winds. Still, Quetzals rely on quiet tactics, nesting in cavities that are hard to find, breeding timed to fruiting pulses, and shifting foraging routes when a tree's crop fails. It is resilience without drama, small, patient moves that matter. Across the day, adult Quetzals appear slow and effortless. Their flight is a series of buoyant bounds, moving through layer after layer of green. They are not built for long, continuous migration in the way some species are. Rather, they thread the forest with precision. Their plumage, an iridescent green back and crimson belly, catches light like a folded mirror. In motion, flashes of color become messages, to mates, to rivals, to the forest itself.
There is a small courtship sequence I like to imagine as 5 quiet movements. A male spots a female across a gap. A brief flight displays tail streamers. A soft call answers from the leaves. Fruit is offered, and then the two meet at a hollow. The gestures are minimal but meaningful, each one a signal that the partnership will hold for the nesting season, sometimes longer. Watch those tail feathers. They tell a story that words cannot fully capture. To follow a single nesting attempt gives this ritual a gentle arc. First, the pair inspects and readies the cavity. Then an egg appears. Later, the chick arrives, fragile and urgent. Parents shuttle fruit back and forth, sometimes pausing on the same perch as if to exchange news. And weeks later, when the fledging comes, the chick makes a few short flights, testing wind and branch, until it begins to place itself into the forest beyond the nest. It is a slow story, with small climaxes and quiet endings. Seed dispersal is the Quetzal's uncelebrated labor. A fruit eaten on one ridge becomes a sapling years later on another slope. The bird swallows whole berries. Seeds pass through intact and are deposited in dung, where young trees find their first chance. Over time, those deposited seeds form corridors of forest, link isolated trees, and give the landscape resilience. That single berry, carried and carried again, becomes an argument for continuity in a fragmented world. I want to share a small human vignette. A local guardian on a misty ridge who keeps a simple calendar of fruiting trees. She points to a particular tree, names it in her language, and says when the berries will come. Her knowledge guides where nests are likely to succeed that year. Community stewardship like this often matters more than any distant policy. People who watch the land daily notice changes first and act early. Small protections add up, keeping corridors intact so quetzals can move between fruiting patches, safeguarding nesting trees, and supporting local guardians who read the forest calendar. Simple choices: planting native fruiting trees, avoiding needless clearing, supporting community reserves, help the next nesting season arrive with more promise. The work is patient and often quiet, but it shifts the odds towards survival. Before we close, return with me to the motif of the berry. Picture the same small fruit, plucked at dawn, swallowed, and later falling into a patch of fertile moss. Years hence, a sapling rises where once there was only leaf litter. The quetzal's daily choices, where it perches, what it eats, where it drops a seed, become a language of repair. The forest replies in shoots and shade. And so the partnership continues, quiet and patient. If this hour gave you a peaceful moment or a fresh question, consider a small step. Plant a native fruiting tree, learn about a local conservation group, or simply share this story with someone who needs a quiet escape. These are not grand gestures, but they are meaningful ones. Remember them, respect them, learn from them. The dance of nature continues, and our small attentions help keep its rhythm. Thank you for stepping into this misty morning with me and the resplendent Quetzal. If this story brought you calm or curiosity, please subscribe to Avian Tranquility and share this episode with someone who might need a breath of the forest today. In that moment, we see nature's quiet wisdom. Until next time, may the soft wing beats of the forest stay with you. One bird, one story, complete peace.